So this question we have waves going through two gaps now in our classic 2-point source interference example. The boat is anchored 3 meters from point A and 5 meters from point B. So we're expected to look at the path difference there, which is 2 meters, and we need to compare that to the wavelength of the waves, which is 4 meters. So this is not a whole number of wavelengths out, this is an odd number of half wavelengths out. So we're talking about where the boat is lying, we're talking about a destructive interference. So destructive interference, because the half wavelength out means you're getting a wave arriving in peak as another one's arriving in trough, and they cancel each other out. So we need to describe and explain the effects of the waves on the motion of the boat, giving reasons. So the effects of the waves will be minimal. Okay, minimal, and the reason is the boat is at a position of destructive interference. In your answer you need to state what happens to the wavefronts as they go through the two gaps. So basically the second part of that, first part we've answered already, the second part is to describe the whole interference of waves to produce the effects that we see. So we would describe constructive interference, and would describe destructive interference, and the things we would mention on each, we would have to mention whether it's a node or an antinode, where it's crest plus crest, or an troughs plus troughs, or whether it's crest plus trough, which is in the case of destructive. We would have to talk about the path difference. For constructive interference it's a whole number of wavelengths. Path difference for destructive, it's an odd number of half wavelengths, so they arrive out of phase, as we talked about down here. And then we'd have to describe the reality of what you would see. So with the constructive interference you would see large peaks and troughs, large peaks and large troughs. And with destructive it would be relatively calm. I don't think it would be perfectly calm, because in a real life situation it's not a perfect gap, and it's not a perfect size, and the waves are not going in perfect directions, and there's reflection off the surface of the boat with waves and all sorts of stuff going on. So, but it would definitely be a calmer spot. You might like to talk about how the boat is also not just sitting at a node, but it's on a nodal line, and describe that destructive interference in a bit more detail. And that's the end of waves, I believe.